You've seen the headlines, right? A self-driving car crashes. It seems to confirm all our worst fears about this technology. But what if I told you that the very data making these cars look so dangerous is actually hiding a secret about their incredible safety potential? So let's peel back the layers here and see what's really going on.
Okay, right off the bat, here's the number that makes everyone nervous. Depending on how you slice the data, autonomous vehicles, or AVs, can have a reported crash rate more than 13 times higher than human-driven cars. I mean, look at that. It sounds absolutely terrible, like a total disaster. But here's the thing. Is that number really telling us the whole story? Because as you're going to see, the reality is so much more complicated and honestly, way more fascinating than those scary headlines want you to believe.
All right, so let's tackle this head on, that mountain of crashes. When you see all these reports piling up, it just paints this picture of, chaos on the streets. And it's totally understandable why people are still a little sketched out by this tech.
Okay, look at this chart. This really puts it into perspective. So back in 2023, a report from California showed the AV crash rate was a massive 14.6 per million miles. Now compare that to us humans. Our police reported rate is just 1.9. That is a huge difference. If you only look at this, you think, okay, case closed. These things are a menace. But this is where the real story actually begins.
So what gives? How can that number be so high? Well, the single biggest reason is what's known as the reporting paradox. Basically, we're not comparing apples to apples here.
And this slide just lays it out perfectly. I mean, be honest. Have you ever tapped someone's bumper in a parking lot and you're both just kind of shrugged and drove off? Yeah, happens all the time. That stuff never gets officially reported. But for self-driving cars, it's the complete opposite. There's a federal mandate. They have to report everything, every little scratch, every tiny bump. So it's not that they're worse drivers, it's that they have to be radically, almost obsessively transparent.
I love this analogy. It just hits the nail on the head. So what we end up with is this incredibly detailed, complete record for the machines, and a super patchy, incomplete one for us humans. The comparison is skewed right from the get-go. It creates this illusion of danger that isn't really there.
Okay, so if the raw number of crashes is kind of a red herring, what should we be looking at? Well, what about the type of crash? Because let's be real, a fender bender is one thing, but a catastrophic, life-changing accident? That's a whole different ballgame. The quality of the crash is so much more important than the quantity. And this is where it gets really interesting. When you actually look at the data for fully autonomous cars like Waymo, you see this pattern. The huge majority of their incidents, they're these super minor low-speed things. And get this, a lot of the time, the self-driving car is just driving along, totally predictable, and a distracted human driver rear-ends it. Seriously.
So here's the real takeaway. The AI is really, really good at avoiding the truly dangerous stuff. It's not checking its phone, it's not getting angry at the car that cut it off, it's not trying to speed through a yellow light. So yeah, maybe it's getting into more of these little bumps that get reported, but it seems to be actively preventing the kind of crashes that actually hurt people.
Okay, so how does it do that? What's the secret sauce? It really all comes down to its technology, which gives it this level of awareness that honestly, it's superhuman.
It's running this constant loop, 24/7. Sense, predict, act. It's taking in information from all its sensors, LiDAR, cameras, radar, and building this perfect 360-degree picture of the world around it. Think about it. We have blind spots, it doesn't. We get tired, it doesn't. Our minds wander, its focus is absolute, all the time.
And the crazy thing is, it's using technology that you might already have in your own car, but it's putting it all together in a perfectly integrated way. That autonomous emergency braking can slam on the brakes way faster than any human. Adaptive cruise control keeps a perfect safe distance. The car won't drift out of its lane, it won't merge into another car. It's like this safety net designed to catch all those common human mistakes.
Okay, so all of this brings us to the big one, the question that really truly matters. What is the actual impact on human life? And this is where the whole narrative just completely flips on its head.
Okay, you have to pay attention to this slide because it is so important. We have to draw a really clear line between systems that help a person drive and systems that drive for the person. As of early 2025, in all the millions of miles driven, there's been just one confirmed death involving a fully autonomous vehicle. One. But cars with driver assist, where a human is still supposed to be paying attention, they've been involved in dozens of fatal crashes. The difference is just it's night and day.
And let's not forget what we're talking about here. The stakes are incredibly high, more than 40,000 people. That's how many die on American roads every single year. And the number one cause, by a huge margin, is us,
human error. That's the problem this technology is trying to fix.
And here's a glimpse of what's possible. Waymo, they're the ones with the most miles on the road. They're reporting an 85% reduction in crashes with serious injuries compared to us humans. Now, full disclosure, that number comes from the company itself, but it lines up perfectly with all the other public data we're seeing. Fewer bad accidents.
Look, does this mean the tech is perfect? No way, not even close. And the people building it will be the first to tell you they've still got a lot of work to do.
The AI still has a tough time with what engineers call edge cases. These are just weird, totally unpredictable situations it wasn't trained for. That tragic 2018 Uber crash where a test vehicle hit a pedestrian, that's a brutal reminder that this technology is still learning, and the consequences of failure are as serious as it gets.
But, and this is a huge but, there's a key difference in how AI learns. When one self-driving car makes a mistake, the entire fleet can learn from it, like instantly. So when a Waymo car hit a wooden pole because of a weird software bug, they didn't just fix that one car. They pushed an update, and poof, that problem was solved for every single car in their fleet. Imagine trying to do that with 300 million human drivers. You can't. It's impossible.
So, when you step back and look at the big picture, the whole story of AV safety really boils down to this classic idea: quantity versus quality. We're seeing a higher quantity of minor reported bumps, but they're hiding a much higher quality of driving that's preventing the worst kinds of accidents.
Which brings us all the way back to the beginning. Are they safer? If the goal, the real goal, is to stop people from being seriously hurt or killed on our roads, then all the data we have right now points to a very clear answer: yes.
Look, the journey isn't over. There are going to be more bumps in the road for sure. But the data isn't telling a story of failure anymore. It's pointing toward a future that could be radically safer for all of us. It's not going to be easy, but it's promising. So really the question we should be asking isn't if this tech can save lives, it's how soon are we willing to start trusting the data instead of just the scary headlines.